Welcome back to the channel and to our first ever used car review. Today we're driving the Volkswagen E-Golf at Kylemore Cars in Bluebell, County Dublin. This one is barely a year old and it's an early 2020 model. We're going to quickly show you around it and then take it out for a drive. If you're new here, we'd really appreciate if you could hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our future videos. And why not let us know in the comments below what cars, new or used, you want to see next on the channel. So let's get into the video and see what the Volkswagen E-Golf is all about. This one is finished in Urano Grey, and at a glance only those in the know will notice the slight design clues that indicate this is an electric powered Golf. There is a thin blue strip that goes through the lights and leads into the grille, and that small E-Golf badge is subtle. Volkswagen stopped producing this car in late 2020 to make way for the ID.3, but there is no doubt still a market out there for the E-Golf. In a world where most new electric cars are designed to stand out, for those that just want to blend right in, the E-Golf offers an electric powertrain packaged in that familiar Golf shape. Let's move on to the boot. It's slightly smaller in here than the standard petrol and diesel Golf because of where the batteries are stored. Nevertheless, it's still a good usable size, and you've got a power outlet back here along with a few shopping bag hooks, and the charging cables can be stored underneath the floor, but there's no room for a spare wheel. Let's hop in and show you what the rear space is like in the E-Golf. So back here in the rear seats, it's all typical Golf. Legroom is decent, even for taller people, and at 6'4", it's still perfectly comfortable back here. It all looks and feels familiar back here. Rear passengers get air vents, an armrest with 2 cup holders, and a ski hatch for longer items. Plastics feel hard wearing, and it's a Volkswagen, so you know it's built to last. Let's move up to the front seats, and once again it's the same story up here. The typical Volkswagen layout greets you as you sit in, and you've got your gear selector, some cup holders, and an armrest. The only real clue that you're sitting in an E-Golf is that badge just behind the gear selector. Let's take it out for a spin and we'll talk more about the interior and how the E-Golf drives. The first thing you notice from behind the wheel of the E-Golf, as with all electric cars, is that instant torque you get when you put your foot to the floor. On paper, the E-Golf hits 100 km an hour in around 9.5 seconds, but it feels much quicker than that in real life. And as with most electric cars, it's very quick off the mark. While you're accelerating, you're doing so in virtual silence with no engine noise. Ride quality is decent despite those heavy batteries under the floor. This electric Golf still absorbs imperfections in the road really well, and the suspension is set up practically the same as you would expect in a petrol or diesel engine Golf. The E-Golf has plenty of rivals in the forms of the Nissan Leaf and Renault Zoe. While they're both good cars in their own right, they simply can't match the overall driving experience of the E-Golf. It grips well in the corners and handles exceptionally with a nice amount of feedback from the steering. It drives like a Golf should. It's not a sports car, but put it on a twisty road and it will no doubt put a smile on your face, while still being a comfortable motorway cruiser, and a quiet one at that. Build quality is good, as you would expect from a German car. This era of the Golf, the Mark 7, was when Volkswagen were very much at the top of their game, and interior plastics all feel solid and well put together, up there with the best in class. Real-world range from a full charge is somewhere around the 200 km mark, which will be more than enough for most drivers and commuters. Obviously, that range depends on the way you drive and conditions like weather, temperature, etc. The battery in this E-Golf is around 35 kilowatt hours, which is relatively small by modern standards. However, the benefits of this smaller size battery means that it can charge quite quickly. At home, a 7 kilowatt charger will take around 5 hours to charge the E-Golf, and fast charging at 50 kilowatts can bring the E-Golf from 10 to 80% in around 35 minutes. There are various drive modes in the E-Golf, with Eco Plus helping you to achieve the most range, but this will reduce performance. Most people will probably leave it in normal unless you really need to conserve energy. There's also various regen modes which increase the resistance when you take your foot off the accelerator. This is good for town driving and can help to recoup some of the energy as you slow down. The touchscreen and media system is the one you'll find across Volkswagen Group cars. It's intuitive, easy to use, and unlike the new generation of Volkswagens, the heating controls are physical dials and buttons, which we think is far easier to control while driving, and much safer. A heat pump was an option on the e-Golf. This basically helped to save some battery power when using the heating. Volkswagen then have done a good job at making the e-Golf easy to drive, as it feels pretty much identical to the regular petrol or diesel powered Golf. Is the e-Golf a good used buy? For those looking for a well-built electric car with familiar controls and design, we think yes. The e-Golf was Volkswagen's first attempt at a mass-produced electric car, and not a bad attempt at that. It does exactly what it says on the tin, offering an electrified drivetrain dressed up in that ever-popular German hatchback suit. It ceased production in December 2020 to make way for Volkswagen's ID.3, which of course is the German brand's first purpose-built electric car. And by the way, there is a review of the ID.3 on the channel. Obviously, the e-Golf can't match some of its more modern alternatives in range, but it's still got more than enough real-world range of around 200 kilometers give or take. Most people's average daily journeys are much shorter than that. And if you need to, you can fast charge the e-Golf in just over half an hour. All things considered then, on the used market, we don't think you'll find a more sturdy and premium feeling electric car that will also hold its value quite well with it being a Volkswagen. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments below and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks very much for watching Deck of Cars.